Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine the woman you desire most looking at you with that quiet, mysterious softness, but you feel it slipping. You don't know why. There's a tension in your chest because something in her behavior doesn't add up, and you can't tell if she's losing interest, testing you, or silently wanting more. That uncertainty you feel right now? Good. Hold on to it, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you understand attractive women forever. And once you see these weaknesses, you can't unsee them. Before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and like the video so you never miss these insights again. Now, let me speak to you directly, man to man, but through the eyes of a woman who has studied female psychology for years. Attractive women, women who command attention effortlessly, are not nearly as invincible as they appear. In fact, many of their behaviors are built on hidden vulnerabilities they would never admit out loud. These vulnerabilities aren't flaws, they're openings, and the men who recognize them gain a quiet advantage, not through manipulation, not through force, but through understanding. Understanding is power, and most men never learn how to wield it. The first thing you must understand is that an attractive woman's confidence is often fragile underneath the surface. She projects certainty because the world expects her to be self-assured, but her beauty becomes a mask, and masks hide insecurity better than anything. When she meets a man who sees beyond that mask, who doesn't collapse under her looks or pedestalize her, her entire internal dynamic shifts. Suddenly, she feels tension. She feels curious. She feels exposed. Another weakness most men overlook is her fear of emotional inconsistency. Attractive women are used to attention, constant attention, but attention is not connection. Men chase them for validation, for ego, for fantasy, not for who they truly are. So when she meets a man who is present but not desperate, warm but not clingy, confident but not arrogant, it disarms her. It disrupts her pattern. And nothing destabilizes an attractive woman more than a man who refuses to behave like the rest. There are 15 weaknesses in total, each one more revealing than the last. But the moment you learn to recognize even one, everything changes. An attractive woman carries something heavy inside her that most men never notice: the constant pressure to perform. Not just physically, but emotionally, socially, and psychologically. She feels watched, judged, expected to live up to an image she didn't even create. And because of that, one of her biggest weaknesses is her sensitivity to authenticity. She is surrounded by men who mirror whatever they think she wants to hear, men who try too hard to impress her, men who shapeshift just to be chosen. So when she encounters a man who is the same with her as he is with everyone else, calm, grounded, unbothered, her mind stops. She pays attention, because genuine presence is rare in her world and rarity is irresistible. Another weakness she hides deeply is her discomfort with emotional leadership. Attractive women often appear strong, independent, and in control, but emotionally, many are tired of leading everything: conversations, connection, decisions, stability. They want a man who knows where he's going, who doesn't need her to drag the relationship forward or hold it together. When you show direction, not dominance, not aggression, but direction, you create safety in her nervous system that she can't manufacture on her own. And safety for a woman is one of the most powerful attractors in existence. A third weakness lives in her relationship with uncertainty. Attractive women receive validation constantly: likes, stares, comments, attention from strangers. Because of this, certainty becomes the air they breathe. They expect men to be predictable in their pursuit, predictable in their emotional reactions, predictable in how quickly they fall. But when she meets a man who is steady yet slightly unpredictable, just enough to keep her emotionally awake, she becomes invested. Not because you're playing games, but because you're not collapsing into her orbit. You remain in your own. A fourth weakness is hidden in how she handles vulnerability. The more beautiful a woman is, the more people assume she never struggles. So she learns to hide her softness, her fears, her doubts. But if you create a space where she feels seen without being judged, she will open in ways she never does with men who only chase her image. This makes you unforgettable, not because you won her, but because you touched the parts of her no one else bothers to look at. These weaknesses aren't weapons, they're doorways, and the men who walk through them with presence gain influence without force, attraction without effort, and connection without losing themselves. There's a weakness in attractive women that almost no man ever notices: the hunger for respect over attention. Most men assume that constant flattery, lavish compliments, or endless chase will make her stay. It won't. Attractive women are used to attention. It comes easy. But respect, that is rare. Respect signals that you see her as a human, not a trophy. When you treat her with unwavering respect, it awakens something deep inside her, a craving for a man who values her presence, her mind, and her boundaries. And this craving? It's magnetic. Another hidden vulnerability is her struggle with trust. Beauty attracts opportunists, men who only want surface-level connection. Over time, this builds caution, walls, and subtle tests. She wants to know, is this man consistent? Is he honest? Does he see the real me or just the mask? When you demonstrate integrity, reliability, and emotional consistency, you bypass her defense mechanisms. You don't need to chase her or convince her. You simply become the solution to the insecurity she never admits she has. Many men also fail to recognize her fear of emotional boredom. Attractive women are bombarded with stimulation, texts, attention, admiration, but stimulation without depth leads to disengagement. She needs intensity paired with stability, moments that make her feel alive, moments that make her feel understood. When you cultivate this balance, you tap into one of her most overlooked weaknesses: the craving for meaningful connection over shallow admiration. Men who only provide excitement without substance are easily forgotten. Men who provide substance without losing spark are remembered. There is also her sensitivity to subtlety. She notices small inconsistencies, tiny shifts in tone, micro-expressions, the way a man's eyes meet hers. This is why directness and clarity are so disarming. When you communicate with confidence and transparency, you remove the game playing she's accustomed to. She subconsciously relaxes, her guard lowers, and her attraction grows. This weakness is invisible to most men because it operates beneath the surface. But once you learn to leverage it, she begins to feel drawn to your presence without understanding why. Finally, understand this: her beauty, her charm, her effortless allure, these are not shields of invincibility. They are adaptations, strategies she's learned to navigate a world that constantly judges her worth. Every attractive woman carries insecurities. Every attractive woman has emotional gaps. And every attractive woman has triggers that can be noticed, respected, and used to create a connection. Recognizing these isn't manipulation, it's awareness. It's the knowledge that allows you to step into her world with confidence, influence, and subtle power. Here's a weakness that will shock you. An attractive woman's independence often masks an internal need for validation, but only from the right man. She may appear untouchable, fully self-sufficient, commanding her life with grace and authority. Yet beneath that polished exterior, she searches for someone who can meet her standards without bowing to her image. Most men try to break through with charm, money, or compliments, but the truth is, what she craves is subtle acknowledgement of her worth, without turning it into a pedestal. When you understand this, you realize that influence comes from quiet, unwavering confidence, not noise or effort. Another rarely noticed vulnerability is her sensitivity to emotional energy. Attractive women constantly scan the room, the people around them, for emotional cues, intentions, insecurities, and hidden desires. Men think they can bluff their way in, but she reads micro-signals instinctively. When you cultivate calm authority, emotional steadiness, and a strong inner presence, you bypass her defenses entirely. She feels safe, but not complacent. She notices a man who maintains composure while others scramble. That calm becomes intoxicating because it's rare, because most men are reactive and easy to predict. There is also a weakness in how she handles rejection. Despite appearances, rejection strikes deep. Her life is often filled with praise and admiration, but when a man sets boundaries or challenges her in a way that respects his own worth, it can unsettle her. Attractive women are not used to this. They are accustomed to having their way, to bending the room's energy toward them. When a man remains firm yet respectful, he taps into a subtle power, the realization that he will not be moved by beauty alone. This triggers intrigue, curiosity, and emotional investment she didn't plan for. A fourth weakness lies in her desire for genuine challenge. She thrives on attention, yet finds routine and predictability boring. What she secretly wants is a man who stimulates her mind, provokes thought, and inspires a spark beyond looks or social status. Most men fail here. They provide entertainment or material, not depth. When you engage her intellectually, emotionally, and strategically, you become unforgettable. She notices not only what you do, but how you hold yourself while doing it. Calm, confident, and unshakable. This combination of challenge and stability activates attraction at its deepest level. Lastly, understand that every attractive woman has boundaries, fears, and emotional gaps that are invisible on the surface. Recognizing these weaknesses is not about manipulation, it's about seeing reality for what it is. Awareness gives you leverage, clarity, and control without ever crossing lines. It allows you to connect, influence, and captivate without losing your integrity or hers. There's a weakness in attractive women that almost no man understands: their fear of being truly understood. Everyone admires her appearance, her style, her charisma, but few see the complexities behind the image. She constantly navigates a world that wants her to be a fantasy, not a person. This creates an unspoken loneliness, a subtle tension she carries even when surrounded by people. When a man demonstrates that he sees her, really sees her, without judgment, she feels something rare: relief. This is a vulnerability few men recognize, and even fewer know how to respond to without overstepping. Another hidden weakness is her dependence on emotional cues. She reads people for energy, for consistency, for subtle intentions. Men underestimate this skill because it's unconscious. She notices how you react under pressure, how you treat strangers, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. She's constantly testing, not maliciously, but instinctively. When you maintain composure, consistency, and emotional integrity, you don't just impress her, you disarm her. Her defenses lower naturally because she instinctively trusts that you are different from the majority who have disappointed her before. A third vulnerability exists in her relationship with patience. Attractive women are often accustomed to instant gratification, attention, validation, desire. But patience from a man introduces tension, intrigue, and curiosity. When you don't rush, when you remain steady and selective with your energy, she begins to invest emotionally without even realizing it. This is powerful because it flips the dynamic. Instead of chasing her, you become the prize. Her attention becomes earned, not given, and that transforms how she values you. Another weakness lives in her response to authenticity. The world has taught her to expect flattery, performance, and false charm. So when you are genuine, when your words match your actions, when your presence is consistent, she feels disarmed. This weakness is subtle but profound. It's the craving for real connection in a sea of superficiality. A man who masters this gains influence without force and attraction without games. Finally, understand that all these weaknesses are tied to one core truth: she is human, beautiful, charming, alluring, but human. Her vulnerabilities are not liabilities, they are gateways. Gateways that allow a man who truly understands her psychology to connect, influence, and captivate in ways others cannot. Recognizing these openings, navigating them wisely, and holding your own value in the process positions you not just as a partner, but as someone unforgettable in her world. There's one last weakness that every attractive woman carries, and it's the one that most men completely miss: her need for a man who is emotionally and mentally unshakable. She is used to attention, validation, and sometimes even indulgence. But what she craves, deep down, is a man whose value is not defined by her presence or approval. She wants someone who stands firm, who leads silently, who handles life with control and calm. This is the kind of strength that doesn't intimidate her. It fascinates her. She senses it before she can articulate it. And once she does, her attraction grows naturally, almost magnetically. Another vulnerability lies in her fear of being controlled while simultaneously craving structure. Attractive women often navigate chaos, people vying for their attention, expectations, social pressures. They want freedom, but also long for a man who can provide stability. Most men misunderstand this and either smother her or retreat. The men who master this balance, assertive yet non-dominating, guiding without suffocating, tap into a deep psychological pull. She feels safe, challenged, and respected all at once, and that combination is addictive. Her next weakness is subtle. She underestimates men who refuse to be impressed by her beauty alone. Because she is constantly admired, she assumes men will always react emotionally, expect her to perform, or bend to her image. But when you remain unshaken, unflattered by appearances, and maintain your own identity, you disrupt the dynamic she's used to. This triggers curiosity and attraction because she's experiencing something unfamiliar, a man who values himself as much as he notices her. Another hidden vulnerability is her need for emotional consistency paired with occasional intrigue. She thrives on excitement, but fears volatility. A man who can balance stability with mystery, someone who is reliable but unpredictable in the best ways, activates deep emotional responses. She becomes engaged, invested, and intrigued without realizing she's responding to a weakness she can't consciously control. Finally, every attractive woman carries a core truth. She wants to feel chosen for who she is, not what she represents. She wants a man who understands the hidden layers beneath the charm, confidence, and allure. Recognizing her weaknesses is not about manipulation. It's about awareness. When you approach her with insight, calm authority, respect, and authenticity, you position yourself as rare, valuable, and unforgettable. The 15 weaknesses are not tricks. They are doorways. Doorways that, when navigated with intelligence and presence, give you influence, connection, and attraction without sacrificing integrity. This is the knowledge most men will never have, and now it is yours. Use it wisely.